Hello, and welcome back to Quest and Show, a play podcast where each week a new adventurer steps up to fix a broken kingdom. I'm the host and Game Master James, and today we have someone brand new to Quest and Show. So please, introduce yourself.
Hey there, my name is Kevin, and you may know me from a YouTube channel called Arcadology, but coming soon I'll be dropping my podcast called Pixel It on June 16th.
Oh boy. I will say, Kevin, at some point this will likely go out after the June 16th
You will
date.
know me from my podcast, which started on June 16th.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. But Kevin, tell me, what is the podcast? What is Pixel Lit?
Pixel It is a podcast that my friend Phil and I record. That is I guess it's a deep dive recap podcast of books that are adaptations of video games. So it's a really, really niche topic, but I think it's kind of fun. So we basically, each episode, we go a few chapters and we discuss it in the book. We talk about how it relates back to the original source material, and we have fun with it.
Sounds it. And what kind of fun stuff have you looked at so far?
So far, we have completely recorded the first 4 or 5 episodes, and that was on Resident Evil: The Umbrella Conspiracy. We've recorded a bonus episode on Resident Evil Village, and coming up after all that will be a series on the book Halo: Fall of Reach.
Oh, I remember liking those Halo books back in the day, because, there was Fall of Reach and there was Black Onyx or something like that.
Yeah. Fall of Reach is basically, from what I've read so far, is basically the Master Chief origin story. It's good. I don't know a ton about Halo, but I'm having fun with it.
No, that's pretty good. The only thing you need to know about Halo is that it's aliens. As in not Ridley Scott, the guy who directed Aliens, he wasn't Ridley Scott. The James Cameron film Aliens.
Yes. Alien 2 Aliens. That's
Alien 2, Aliens.
Aliens.
And then, of course, there's Alien 3, Alien Cube.
Alien Cubed, yeah. Because the aliens had a third dimension, finally, in that one.
Yeah.
They were papered before that.
I know, before that it was just a film that you could only watch in a 2D medium, but now, we're reaching all kinds of dimensions. It's a shame that they never carried that on the 4th one, I think.
Yes, time. We needed the time dimension added.
Alien 4, Alien Time.
Aliens in Time.
Aliens in Time. But tell us a little bit about Arcadology as well.
So Arcadology, I've been doing it for a few years now, and like any good YouTuber, I'm inconsistent with my upload schedule, but it's mostly focused on the history of video games and video game franchises. I look at how games were developed, their inspirations, things like that. And recently I'm starting to add on videos about the philosophy and behind some of these games and behind their development. So look for that in the future as well. This year I've done videos on melancholy in games, and also what was my other video this year? It's silly that I forgot my own video, but it's out there and you should really take a look at it.
Absolutely. Links to all of that will be in the description.
Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah, you know this. You do podcasts. You know all the what do they call it? Calls to action. You got it down packed here.
You got to CTA those people.
Before we get into it though, let me ask, because Quest and Show is obviously a role-playing podcast, and
sure.
We based it on a tabletop system. So, what is your experience with that?
I am primarily a Dungeons and Dragons player. I have played a few campaigns as a player, and I ran most recently. My most recent experience was running Curse of Strahd for a group of friends. It was over several months. I don't think we actually ever ended up finishing it, but it was a good time. Being the DM, that was my first time DMing. But yeah, I've been playing for a few years now.
And how did you find your experience of DMing for the first, versus like being a player?
It was at times it was overwhelming, especially when I first got started, because I thought that I had to prepare for every little scenario, even though 90% of them wouldn't happen. It was to me when I first started, it was like writing a choose your own adventure novel each time I was getting ready for a session. But about halfway through, I started relying a little bit more on my improvisation to tell the story, as opposed to writing pre-scripted events for each option. And I think that worked out pretty well, just having a broad stroke understanding of the story and then improvising my way to a point. That ended up keeping the game a little bit more fluid.
And would you say that's something maybe about tabletop games that like you particularly like about it, or like you think is interesting about it, is that there is that kind of scope to improvisation and, not writing stuff in pen,
I think there's kind of that emergent narrative that is probably the most interesting part, where you can have a story that you want to tell, but being flexible enough to let that story change and manifest itself in different ways is probably the most interesting thing about tabletop games to me.
Yeah. Like I said, it's great to have you here, Kevin. And
well, thank you.
I'm excited to get into the adventure proper. But before we do so, because there is a small potential here that this may be the first episode somebody's listening to, because maybe they're listening to it because they're a big fan of Pixel Lit, which will be available on June 16th, sometime in the future.
On podcast platforms everywhere.
And you may say, hey, he was on this podcast called Question Show, but I don't know anything about it. James, fill me in. Well, I'm happy to do so. Basically, before we started, Kevin came up with a character who will be tasked with solving the episode's issue at hand. And over the course of the adventure, I'll describe settings, characters, and situations. And then it'll be up to Kevin to tell me how they would like to proceed with their actions. And most of the time, these actions won't be challenged. However, there may be opportunities where they'll want to take the advantage, say get the drop on somebody or parlay for a better deal, or times where they'll have to defend themselves, either through a little bluffing or combat. And during these occasions, they'll be asked to roll 2 6-sided dice. Kevin, have you got your dice ready?
Yes, I have my dice ready.
Would you like to give them a lucky roll to see how things may go this episode?
All right, give it a roll, and that's a total of 6, which is not great according to your little chart here.
Yes, according to the rules of Question Show, a 6 or under is a failure, which I like to think them more as interest. They make situations more interesting. They make things riskier, which hopefully you'll be able to approach that. But here's the thing, because you may roll a 6, but there may be opportunities where, say, you might get a small advantage, and that could be through your gear or through your character's special abilities. And in those results, we add 1 to the final result. But on the flip side, that 6 could get worse, because we may apply a disadvantage, such as if the character is hurt, or whether they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we'll remove 1s from the final result in that situation. But simply, high numbers lead to great results, and low numbers, as you said, lead to interesting results.
They lead to opportunities.
Exactly. They lead to opportunities, and hopefully there will be a lot of opportunities this episode. So with that out of the way, oh, and also another call to action for the people at home, a link to the system and the rules is in the description below. With that out of the way, though, is there anything that you would like to say before we get into the adventure proper?
No, just lay it on me, James, and let's get going.
All right. You did ask for it, though. That said, keep in mind that your actions aren't just going to affect this adventure. They're going to affect every adventure going forward, much like previous adventures are going to. Well, you're gonna find out what previous adventures have done to this one. So with that, let's go to a land out of time and out of place as we begin just outside the outskirts of Trottelera. Now, it is a lovely day in the kingdom of Trottelera. Barely a cloud in the sky, nice warm sun up in the air. Perfect weather for a travelling man, who I believe is the character that we are focusing on today. So, Kevin, please, tell us, the people at home, and myself, what is the name of your character?
My character's name is Mark Mountain.
Mark Mountain. And describe, what does Mark Mountain look like?
He is, just an average-sized human. He's wearing a red and white pinstripe jacket, and he is wearing a top hat.
Oh boy, a pinstripe top hat or a black top hat?
The top hat is going to be pinstriped like his jacket.
Oh boy, he is a pinstripe man all the way down.
Yes.
That's exciting.
He also has a pencil-thin mustache.
Oh, of course. I can see all of these details in my mind's eye. But what would you say their role is? Just in a couple of words.
His role is he's a con artist with a heart of gold. Yeah.
So, what's the backstory then? How did they come to becoming the con artist with a heart of gold?
So, Mark Mountain, through his life, has really only known one way of making money, and that is he travels from town to town, selling fake products to townspeople and convincing them that they really need it when they absolutely don't. However, most recently, he's been run out of the previous town when somebody saw through his act, and now he's just on the road again.
On the road again. Can't remember the rest of the lyrics to the song On the Road Again, unfortunately. What would you say his three particular skills are?
He's very intuitive. He's very good at persuading people, obviously.
Yes.
And he's very good at investigating. He's good at kind of looking into what people think they want or think they need or weaknesses in people.
Absolutely. What would you say his expertise, or so much so his special something, is?
Yeah, so he had a brother named Henry growing up that had singing lessons. Meanwhile, Mark had martial arts lessons.
Okay, so not a very good singer, but probably able to defend themselves with a bit of hand-to-hand if needed. That's good. That is good to know. And then finally, what has Mark currently got on them?
He's got a tray of the finest exotic potions and a carriage full of approximately 76 fake trombones.
Approximately 76 fake trombones. How did he come across these fake trombones?
You know what? It's a funny story, really. He found a factory, a trombone factory, and there was a defect pile out back. And, he just rolled up his cart one day, took them all, and he thought they would make for a good con.
But unfortunately, his con in the previous kingdom of Jogathon didn't go very well when, well, one of the marks wanted to inspect the goods and realizing that it was a defective product, very, very unexpectedly managed to get a angry mob together that physically chased Mark Mountain out of their town. But he is here that there is a greater opportunity to sell these fake trombones and make a little bit of cash in the kingdom of Trottelera, which is where he is heading now. But of course, like all kingdoms, before he can really get in there, he has been stopped by their toll booth just outside of the city limits. So, before Mark gets any closer, is there anything that you want to do with this information?
With the information of the toll booth coming up?
Yeah, that there is a upcoming toll booth.
So Mark is going to take he's going to just take a little coin out of his pocket, and it's a little brass coin, and he has a little gold foil, and he's just gonna wrap it around the brass coin and try to smooth it out while he approaches.
Okay, that's interesting. But you are going to approach the toll booth.
Yes, I'll approach the toll booth.
You get a little bit closer then, and you notice the two people who are outside the toll booth. One of them, funnily enough, in me mistakenly saying that, one of them is a troll, which is about 10 foot tall, broad as anything, and like the armor that it's wearing barely fits it. And then next to it is a gnoll, who is a bit more your size and a bit hunched over, but they're both looking at you, and then the gnoll puts his hand out and he goes, "Oh, that's as far as you go. What are you doing? What's your business in Trottelera, sir?"
Well, I'm glad you asked that. You see, in this carriage right here, I have the finest, the greatest trombones known to man, troll, and gnoll kind, and I am here to sell them to you fine folks of Trottelera.
The gnoll is blown away by your sales pitch this early on in the day, and it looks at the troll and it's like, "I don't know if we should be doing business at this time of day. Check the paperwork." The troll nods and then goes away, and the gnoll looks at you and he goes, "Trombones, is it?"
Yes, they are trombones, and they work from first position to seventh position. I guarantee it.
Right. You mind if I have a quick inspection?
You may.
Okay, the gnoll wants to move over to your cart and have a look at those trombones then.
Okay.
You're happy for it to do so? Or?
I'm going to let it.
Okay. The gnoll heads over to have a look at your cart then and sees, I'm guessing they're all like, do they all have like individual cases? Or are they all just like sitting in a barrel?
They're very nicely stacked up on shelves within the cart itself. Like,
oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, the gnoll takes it off the shelf. Takes one of them off the shelf, and it starts to look down the pipe, looking back at you and say, "So you can never be too careful about these sorts of things. People try and smuggle all sorts of stuff into Trottelera and all kinds of instruments. You could have had, I wouldn't have even thought what you would have in here, but I think I'm probably going to have to go through all of them just to make sure that you're not hiding anything suspicious, alright?"
My good sir, you take all the time you need. Look up and down these trombones and look in the pipes, look in the vipes, looking everywhere.
As it does so, the troll walks out with a little clipboard, and it's between two enormous fingers, and he goes, "Oh, I think that's the guy that we've been waiting for." "What guy?" The guy who's meant to be bringing the brass section into Trottelera for today's ceremony." "Oh, splendid timing then." Looking at you. "Alright, well, we should be doing an inspection, but, things as they are in Trottelera, they've got to move pretty quickly, alright? So, I'm sure somebody on the other end will be able to check him, though. But, you want to head directly to Trottelera Castle, do you understand?"
"Right to the castle. I guarantee I will go straight there."
Alright, in that case, then, the Gnoll gets out of the car and kind of opens up the toll booth that they got and lets you into the city of Trottelera proper.
I flip the gold leaf covered coin to the troll.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it like tries to grab it in its like pan-sized hand, and maybe it does or maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure, but they have basically let you on their way. But they have told you like you need to start heading towards the castle. So, what's your plan?
The castle seems to be the end result of where these trombones are going to get really good, thorough looking at, and I'm also definitely not the brass section that they asked for. So I'm scoping out for a pawn shop or some other place where I can get some of my investment back. And when I say investment, I mean these trash trombones that I stole out of the back of a factory.
Okay, no problem with that then. So, you do travel into Trottelera then, and I'm guessing you're just going to ask around to say, hey, like, is there a pawn shop nearby?
Like, hey, is there anybody looking for trombones in the area, or musical instruments of any kind?
Funnily enough, the moment you mention that, every response you get is, yeah, we need trombones at the castle. There's a big ceremony today.
Finally, Mark kind of sighs and says, all right, tell me, what's the ceremony that they've been talking about?
Oh, okay. In that case, let's roll first big roll of the game then.
Ooh.
Roll 2d6 and we'll add +1 for persuasion and another +1 for investigation because you kind of want to know a little bit more about what's going on. So we'll add 2 to the final result or whatever you roll.
All right. I got a 6 and a 4 plus 2 is a total of 12.
That is a big 12. Oh boy, oh boy. You manage to flag down a half-elf then, and you say, what's happening? What's this big old ceremony? And they kind of perk up and it's like, you haven't heard the news?
Sorry, I've been out of town for a bit.
Oh, blimey. Everybody's been talking about it all week. The king and queen are back.
The king and queen, Brennan and his wife, the man on Hemlock. She's back.
Yep, they apparently they turned up a couple of days ago, and Pratsy's throwing together a ceremony to announce it to the wider kingdom and what happens next, essentially. Because he made himself king during their disappearance, so it could be a bit of a schism with that.
That is fascinating news. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem to you. But like I said, those trombones in the back of your cart, I mean, I imagine that they'll probably want them over at the castle. I mean, hey, if you're the guy they're looking for, I mean, Pratt's gonna pay you whatever amount of money, you can come up with for those.
Well, that is good to hear. And immediately, I'm going to start making for the castle.
You head over to the castle then, and again, there are 2 guards outside, put their hands up, and they say, "What's your business in Trottelera Castle?"
Well, gentlemen, I'm glad you asked. I'm here with the trombones for Prince Pratt.
Oh, you're the tromboner. Oh, fantastic. Right, come on through then, sir. They open the doors nice and wide and give you a full path up to Trottelera Castle.
Mark is humming to himself. It's a song. It's an old song. It goes something like, "We're in the money, making lots of money."
You get up to the castle proper then, you park your car outside, people start to move around as you tell them, as the guards say, this is the trombone man, this is the guy who's here to fill out the brass section, and people are just kind of moving hither and thither around you, and the guard says to you, right, you don't want to go anywhere though, sir. If you if you're part of the brass section, you're probably going to be the guy conducting it, so we need you here, alright?
Oh, well, see, you got the wrong idea, gentlemen. I'm just here to bring you the trombones. I am not the conductor.
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion.
Okay. Persuasion's +1, right?
Yeah, so add a +1 to the final result.
Okay. That's going to be a 9.
Oh, there's a 9 then. The guy looks a little bit confused at you, and he's like, so hold on, so you're not the conductor, but you do have all the trombones.
I have 76 for them. For Prince Pratt himself.
Oh, 76 for Prince Pratt himself? Oh, I guess maybe you must have asked for him then. Tell you what, we'll bring you to Pratt then, and we'll smooth this whole thing out. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
Oh boy, okay then. In that case, one of them is like, right, follow me, and he's going to bring you into the castle proper. Now, you have never been inside the Citadel, the home of the Hemlocks, the castle of Trotlaera itself. Oh boy, this thing is lovely and tall, high ceilings, big glass windows. You can see this point from almost anywhere in the kingdom, like a big lighthouse. And you're brought into a hallway where, on the left-hand side, you've got paintings of all the Hemlocks, starting at Uriel, and then they all change in shape and size until eventually we get to King Pratt Hemlock, who isn't currently in the throne room. The guard looks at you and goes, oh, I would have thought he'd be here by now. Tell you what, you wait here, and I'll go and find him, alright?
Certainly, my good man.
Nice. Leaving you on your own in the throne room of Castle Hemlock. Is there anything you want to do with this wonderful situation?
Is there anything like absurdly valuable but also fits in a pocket?
Very good question. Roll 2d6 and I'll give you a +1 for intuition and another +1 because it's a castle.
Yep. That's an 8.
Oh, but +2 is 10, I guess.
No, that was 8. 8 with
oh,
the
so
two,
it was the 6 that then pulled you into an 8.
Yeah.
Ah, very nice. You have a look around then and you're like, all right, let's check. And like you're putting your hand down like the throne to see if there's any loose coin in there. You're even like checking the paintings and seeing if there's like anything that you can grab. There is something that you can grab in this situation though. There is a pure gold ceremonial knife that is held in 2 brass hands on one of the tables. You could probably slip that on your person, no questions asked.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that.
Okay, we will add that to your treasure.
Woo!
Gold knife. And you also find some loose coin, so we will add that also to your treasure. But as you are rooting around, you hear a voice behind you who goes, "Oh, you must be here for dressing Queen Manon, right?"
I turn around and who am I looking at?
You see a small human woman who is dressed in clothing of the people who actually work within the castle, and she points to your top hat and she goes, "A man of your style, you must be her seamstress."
I take my hat off and I bow to the woman and I say, "Well, I am sorry, miss. I am here for a meeting with King Pratt."
Ooh. Roll 2d6 and we'll add persuasion to this.
Sure. 2d6 plus 1. That's a 6.
The maid nods up and down. She goes, "Yes, you must be here for King Pratt, because he was the one who asked you to press Queen Manon. Now, come on, no hanging around in the throne room, all right? We got to be quick today." She grabs your hand and she wants to start like dragging you towards the Queen's quarters.
I walk with her, just kind of mumbling objections all the way there.
As you are dragged 2 stories up a tower and to the room of Queen Manon Hemlock, the little human woman pushes the door, and you are now face to face with the previous queen of Trottelera, who just seems a little bit confused about the whole, like, situation. As the little human woman says, "Right, miss, here's the fellow who's meant to be taking your dimensions, all right? Ever since your clothes went missing, we've searched far and wide for the best seamstress there is, and we found one right here." pushing you into the room, ready for you to introduce yourself.
I scan the room really quickly because it's a queen's chambers.
There are so many valuables.
Okay,
in this
room. So leaning right into it, I doff my cap. I strike a deep bow, and I say, "Queen Hemlock, it is my pleasure to dress you today."
The queen looks a bit confused and then looks at the human woman, and she says, "That's you, miss." "Oh, right. Yeah, of course, that's me. Well, wonderful to meet. Excuse me. What's your name?"
"Hi, I am the finest sartorial tailor in all of the. How many kingdoms are we talking about here? 3, 7, 5 kingdoms." Mark is just rattling off things really quickly, and he says, "My name is," and then he pauses for a pseudonym.
Roll 2d6 and we'll give you intuition and another +1 because I feel like this is something he's done quite a bit, so we'll add +2 to the final result.
It's a 10.
Oh, that's a big 10. You have all the time in the world to think of a pseudonym. They don't question it, and there's all sorts of things in the room that might give you ideas. There's the little horns on Queen Manon's head. There's silk on the dresser. There's torches here and there that are unlit.
He looks at them and says, "My name is Silky Hornswoggle."
"Oh, okay. It's Silky Hornswoggle. Okay, that's what I'll call you then." Looking at the human woman and just nodding. It's like, "Oh, you can go now. It's fine." And yeah, the human woman like shuts the door behind you, leaving you in the room with a 7-foot tall beast woman. He's just looking at you like, what? Okay, do your thing.
So I'm gonna glance around for measuring tape, or a tape measure or whatever, so I can start at least pretending to do the thing that I need to be actually doing.
Okay, there is a tape measure like in hand's reach, but yeah, the big woman's just kind of looking at you, and she's just like, so how does this work? I think I've done this before, but I can't remember."
"Well, my lady, I'm just going to ask you to stand up real straight and tall and proud, and I'm going to take care of the rest."
She stands up way tall and proud, and she has got at least 2 foot on you.
So I'm gonna in your mind's eye imagine this almost like as if like Bugs Bunny was tape measuring somebody, and like all you see are like the keyframes of him like
stretching
just around different parts of her. Like you don't actually see the movements.
Okay, she's just very bashful, and she's just got her hands to her side, and she's just like, so what kingdom do you come from then?"
"Well, I've come from many, many kingdoms. I've spent my life on the road because, let me tell you, the sartorial needs of everywhere needs somebody who can be anywhere."
"Cool. I don't suppose you know anything about like being a queen or anything, do you?"
"You know, I've talked to the greatest queens of our time, and I tell you what, you have the greatest handle that I've ever seen on the queenship."
"Do I?"
Of course you do." And Mark is meanwhile is while she's like kind of up and prim and proper, and I guess probably staring into the middle distance, I assume. I'm gonna see if there's anything I can grab and pocket while I'm doing this.
2d6, and we'll add +1 for intuition.
Sure. Oh, that's gonna be a 6 and a failure.
Oh, with a +1.
With the +1, yep.
Okay, you're like trying to take her measurements and stuff, and in the meantime, like you're just trying to lean back, and yeah, her like table is covered in like bottles of perfume and like women's makeup and stuff that would like grab a pretty penny like on the black market.
Right.
Not a lot of it though. Somebody's recently gone through here and thumbed most of the good stuff, kind of leaving you with like bits and spits essentially. But as you're doing so, her head turns around and sees that you are grabbing stuff, and she just starts blinking, and she's like, is that part of your duties, sir?"
Mark pauses for a second, and so I turn around and I give her the biggest smile that he can possibly give, and I say, "Well, of course, ma'am. I just need to get to know you a little bit better through the objects that you decide to keep in your room. And then I can design you the most wondrous, most splendiferous gown that the eye has ever beholded."
She blinks and then kind of looks off in the middle distance, and she's like, "Oh, seems a bit weird, but okay. You're the expert, I suppose."
"You're right, I am the expert."
"Cool." Yeah, she just goes back to standing, and like, you do have the opportunity if you want to like grab more stuff. She is a complete... You kind of get the feeling that like, even though she was queen for quite a good number of years, either she's an actress who doesn't really know what to do, or she's just a complete blank slate right now.
So while I'm doing this, and while I'm kind of just grabbing some bits and bobs off of her table, I say, "So you were gone for a while. How was it? Was it nice? Was it like a vacation to being gone, or where have you been? What's going on in that great big beautiful mind of yours?"
Oh, it's funny actually. Apparently me and my husband, we fell off our cart and, well, the only thing I can remember was, I used to be a maid in a house for a little while of a real bad man, rat man, that's what he was. But he wasn't a rat man, I think he was human, although he doesn't have a face anymore. Oh, very confusing, but, we came back to Trudlera a couple of days ago, and, it's been so lovely to see my little boy Pred again. Oh, he's become such a wonderful king in all this time, but... yeah, that's about it, unfortunately. I can't really remember much else.
Oh, no. So you said the man doesn't have a face anymore. That's a story into and of itself.
Yeah, I believe he's down in the dungeon right now. They're questioning all that he knows because, yeah, if they can try and get my memories back, that'd be fantastic.
Well, I believe I might have a potion for memory regaining down in my cart.
Do you really?
Yes,
I'll
I
say
have the finest exotic potions from across the land.
I'll say if you want, because your loadout is always... having your fake trombones on you, I would say maybe you have like 1 or 2 on you in a backpack, and I'll say that maybe you have a couple of exotic potions as well, just in case you want to...
Yeah.
Just in case you want one to hand.
So, Mark Mountain as Silky Hornswoggle reaches a hand into his backpack, pulls out a potion, and the label is written on it. It says Gorgon oil.
Okay.
On the potion, and I hold it up, and I say, "Now take a look at this wondrous, magnificent concoction of the finest scientists and mages from across the land." And I hold it up to her, and it's like, "Guaranteed to cure what ails you."
Her eyes are glittering. She is totally convinced by your spiel on this.
Mark realizes that this has been way too easy, and feels bad for for just a moment before pushing that feeling way, way deep down.
Just stamping on it as like a bug on the road. She takes the potion then out of your hands, and she is about to knock that thing back. Do you stop her, or
I say, and you can have it for the low price of what would be like a sizable amount of money in this kingdom.
Gold coins are their current currency.
Sure.
It's like one gold coin to $1.
Sure.
So
Low
I
price
suppose
of 1,000 gold coins.
1,000 gold coins. Oh, I don't know if I have that in this room, but I can certainly get that for you. Oh, would you mind if I give it a quick taste though before I pay you off?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Roll 2d6 and add +1 for exotic. Well, actually, I guess I should ask you. What is that potion actually meant to do?
The potion is meant to do absolutely nothing.
Okay.
It's literally just whatever I say it's meant to do. Is what they're supposed to think it's meant to do.
Okay.
Yep.
Roll 2d6 plus exotic potions.
All right. +1. Roll 2d6. I'm getting all the opportunities today. That's with the +1. That's a 4.
She knocks that thing back then and drinks it all in one go, rolls her shoulders and is like waiting for it to kick in, but it doesn't yet. And she kind of looks at you and she goes, must not be instantaneous. Well, that's okay. Let me just go grab that gold for you. She collapses. She falls over like a wooden log. You check the bottle again that you gave her. It was a sleeping potion.
Yeah. I peel the label back, Gorgon oil, and it underneath the label it says sleeping potion, and I say to myself, God darn it, not again.
But the queen is having a lovely snooze on the floor.
So I'm gonna just take a gentle step over her, as I imagine she is between me and the door, and I'm going to just leave
the situation.
Leave the situation.
Sounds pretty good, but unfortunately, you have now fallen into another situation. As you open the door and slide out, you feel a arm around your throat as you are pulled into the darkness of a dark corner of the castle.
Hey, buddy, watch the throat.
Hey, I need this. I need it for breathing. Shh. Be quiet.
Oh, okay. What are we being quiet for?
I'm being quiet because you're the guy I've been looking for all day. You're the guy who's going to be part of our big plan.
I don't know who you think I am, buddy. I'm just here to dress the queen and or sell some trombones, depending on who you are.
So, what you're saying is that you got an in with the royal family already, then?
You could say that?
Fantastic. Well, in that case, if you don't want to see the inside of a jail cell for lying to the queen, you're going to help us out.
I've never lied to anybody, buddy.
You don't feel this, you don't see this, but you do feel a finger running down your suit, and it's like, a guy who dresses like you has never lied to anybody in their entire lives, have they?
No, I am the most trustworthy man in the kingdom, and I like tug on my collars as if to, puff myself up.
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion, then.
Okay. And roll 7.
Oh, that's a 7 then. You just hear a little bit of muttering behind you. It's like, shit. Well, I can't really let you go now, because if you run off and you start blabbing that somebody kidnapped you, well, you're going to be in a hell of a heap of trouble. So I suppose at this point, you might as well go along with the plan.
Sir, I may or may not go along with the plan as long as the plan personally enriches me in some magnificent way. So why don't you just give me a little taste of what you're talking about?
God damn it. All right. We need you to go into Prince Pratt's chambers, and we need you to get him to spill something very important.
Spill as in liquid or spill as in talk?
Yeah, spill as in talk, spill as in secrets.
Oh. Well, I tell you what. I am the best at getting people to spill liquid, words, or otherwise.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we're gonna have to put something on here. All right. We're gonna have to wire in so we can listen to you and him have a conversation. All right, because we need a clear confession from him. Do you understand?
A clear confession. And what is it that he is confessing to?
We need him to confess that he may be involved in the assassination of one Vito Staccato.
Oh, that sounds like a bummer of a thing to have been involved in. I tell you what. But you got my attention. And as a side note, can I interest you in some trombones?
What?
I got these trombones. I need to sell them. I figured I'm doing a thing for you. You do a thing for me, and it all works out.
Proxy D6 plus persuasion.
That's an 8.
Okay. The guy's just kind of looking around. He's like, "Okay, fine. If you do this job for us, we'll buy some of your trombones.
There's 76 of them to be exact."
Oh God, we have no use for 76 trombones. Maybe I'll buy like 10 of them, but I ain't buying 76 of them.
Ooh, I don't know about this.
Oh God, all right. All right. I'll buy all 76 trombones off you. Then.
You, sir, have yourself a deal. And I shake his hand really quickly before he could say anything else.
God damn. This is like, you can't quite tell if it's a human or an elf or whatever. They are like clad in black. They look like a little thief, essentially, hiding in the shadows of this castle. Like I said, though, you need to go see Pratt right now, and you gotta get that confession. The moment that he goes out during the ceremony, we've blown our chance, okay?
You know what? You don't worry about that. You go yourself. You know what? Get yourself a little coffee, a cappuccino, whatever you want. You don't worry about a thing. I will go talk to Prince/King/Prince Pratt.
The guy looks at you confused and says, "What the hell is a cappuccino?"
It is delightful, but I don't have time to talk about the differences between it and regular coffee, because clearly time is of the essence, and I must make my departure.
Okay, and you are going to head over to... Okay, and the guy kind of points you in the direction being like, "Well, that's Pratt's room's over there. You need to go, like, sort it out right now. Time is of the essence." So, what would you like to do?
So I'm going to first. I'm going to make sure the door is closed to the Queen's chambers.
Yeah. Okay. You have made sure of that. That is like, you kind of like quickly peep in, and you just see like a big smiley beast woman, just like having the most comfortable sleep, just with her face, with like her face just flat against
smushed
the
on the
floor.
ground.
Yeah. You just feel like the rumbling of snoring like through the floor, but you just shut the door tight and like wiggle the handle a little bit to make sure nobody's you know, it's nice and tight.
It's good.
So yeah,
it's good and tight. It's not going to squeak open at any point during an inopportune moment.
Absolutely not.
So I'm gonna march right over to wherever Prince Pratt is. I don't know where he is.
You open the room that you were told Pratt was in then.
Sure.
And you do pop in, and you do see that there are 2 people already... Well, actually, there's about 3 people already in there. One of them is a tailor, the other one is a beautician, and the other person is a female orc who is kind of sat off to the side. And with them is Prince Pratt, who you have got an audience with. What do you know of Pratt?
As Mark would know, probably that he was kind of like the prince in charge, and then he named himself king, and then probably heard something about a scuffle with his uncle, and that's pretty much long and short of it. That's all he knows.
Okay, and obviously you've seen pictures of Pratt in the paper, and you got a general.
He's a bit of a dandy.
Bit of a fancy lad, which is what the tailors are trying to sort out at the moment, because much like his parents, Pratt is a bit of a big guy, looking a lot larger though as of recent, and he also looks quite stressed out as a thing. But what do you do though? You let yourself into the room and.
First thing is, I would kind of like side eye over to the female orc, thinking that maybe she's bodyguard or something like that. Can I like intuit that information?
Of course, 2d6 plus, we'll give you +1 for an intuition and another +1, I guess. We'll add +2 to this.
Okay. That's a 9.
As a 9. You could go either way. She's quite tall and quite strong looking, but the way that she's sitting in the room and the way that she's currently, like what she's doing is that she is applying her own makeup at the moment.
Okay.
So it could go either way.
All right. So I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll say that as I walk into the room, and I walk in. Noting that there's already a tailor and a beautician in there, I start up and say, my good Prince Pratt, I was told I could find you in here.
Pratt turns around, and with it is like this additional weight that he is carrying. In his mouth is stuffed 3 chocolate-looking snacks that he that he also has a bowl of, like, next to him as well. As the tailors are like, no, slow down a little bit. As, like, he swallows it and he kind of looks at you and he goes, wasn't expecting anybody new up here. Sorry, who are you?
Well, hello there. My name is Mark Mountain, and I am here to sell you some trombones.
He looks over at the green orc, who looks a little bit bemused and like looks over in your direction, and then Pratt looks kind of over at you as well and is like, trombones.
For the ceremony. You have a big ceremony today, don't you? I've been told that I am the man that you need to see.
Oh, maybe you are then. I didn't know that there was an issue with trombones with the ceremony. I mean, God, there's been so many issues with this ceremony already, I suppose, yeah.
I am here to solve that issue, and pray tell, what other issues are weighing on those big broad shoulders of yours?
You're just like leaning, like you're like leaning on your elbow forward to like wherever this wire that they've put on you. You're like trying to push it out as much as possible. Pratt's just kind of looking at you a little bit confused. Roll 2d6 and we'll add +1 for persuasion then.
All right. That's an 11.
Oh boy. Pratt shoves another like chocolate thing in his mouth then and swallows it down. And he's like, "Oh, what hasn't happened? Oh, there's been this issue. There's been rat people underneath Trottle Air that apparently need to sort. There's a whole kind of thing happening with spider folk just outside who wanted to take back the Mute Duke Lake. Took me hostage, took my girlfriend hostage. And now apparently, like, we haven't got any brass, and the Decule Police Force have been sticking their nose into something as well. And I keep stress eating, and I'm getting bigger, so I start stress exercising, and that just makes me even bigger. The fact that my parents are back, I thought would make me happier, but it hasn't, because they don't remember a darn thing either."
Well, that is certainly a lot to be carrying around on those big, broad shoulders of yours. Have I talked about how broad your shoulders are yet?
Yeah, you keep mentioning it. I'm a little bit, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Self-conscious?
I'm a little bit self-conscious about these broad shoulders of mine, thanks.
I get a little bit closer to him and I say, "My good sir, how do you expect to carry the weight of a kingdom without those broad shoulders? I say, keep eating that cake. Keep exercising. You're doing the right thing, pal."
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion.
That's an 8.
That's an 8. Okay, he's just kind of looking at you, a bit confused, but then he nods and he's like, "Yeah, no, I know it's stress eating and stress exercising, but it does make me feel better. Much better."
Do the thing that makes you feel better. That's what I always say.
that's what I always say. As he kind of nods, but then he looks at you and he goes, "Right, so you come to sell trombones then for the brass section, is that right?"
That is absolutely correct, but don't look at me as just a humble trombonesman. Look at me as the solver of as many problems as you want to offload onto me. And I really want to stress how broad Mark's smile would be at this point.
Oh yeah, it is like the tips are touching the bottom of his ears, I would imagine at this point. As Pat's just kind of looking very confused at you, and just like, "What, like you want to be an advisor?"
If I could advise you, I would. You just say the word, my good friend, and I will give you the advice. The best advice, the most magnificent, splendiferous advice that you could ever ask for.
Pratt looks over at the green orc, who's like, well, she finally pipes up and she goes, "It's always nice to have friends. You remember, like, Prosy, when she popped into the room? She gave me tons of lovely advice as well, Pratt. Sometimes people just turn up and give you nice advice." Pratt looks at you then and he goes, "Oh, okay. And, I mean, you've already given me one bit of advice, which, I'm feeling pretty good about, so what's this other bit of advice that you got?"
Well, lay a situation on me. What, tell me something that's happened recently that you need counseling on, and I'll be your oracle. I will be your sage.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't really be telling people this, but, well, the Deccio police force, they keep, sticking the nose in things in the castle, and I'm worried that, well, I don't know, I'm just worried about what they know, really.
And well, I mean, what are you worried about? What is it that they could possibly, you think that they know that would be of concern to you?
Yeah, roll 2d6. I'm going to give you a +2 on this.
13.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Pratt. Well, you see, there was this thing a little while ago, right? Before, you remember what happened with my Uncle Droog when he turned up and took the castle hostage?
Oh, that rapscallion? Yes, I remember it clear as day. Continue.
Well, before that happened, I was hiring people to help me out, and, I made this really lovely application form for, adventurers to come and help find my mom and dad, or, like, help out with stuff in the kingdom. And then this guy turned up called Mario Q. Godot, who told me that, he would happily help me out with anything. Like, he would give me, tips on how to be a hero, which, at the time, I wasn't really sure what to say about that, but, I wanted to take a more hands-on approach to stuff, but, well, I had found out that apparently there was this group called the Hay Fever Tribe, who were just outside of Trotler, who may have been responsible for kidnapping them, which, well, in hindsight, I guess they weren't. So, me and Mario, we went over to look into it, and Mario told me that he needed me to, he told me to create a distraction, and he gave me an explosive for it.
Oh, an explosive. That's a way to add a little pop to the story. Continue.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, this story certainly ended up with a pop because I set off this explosive and oh god, well, what happened next was there was just carnage. It was crazy.
Oh, whoa, that's a lot.
Tell me about it. Well, yeah, and then Mario, he disappeared, and, well, the Deccio police force, they're asking where he is and whether I was involved in this thing, and, I gotta feel a little bit responsible for it, considering Mario told me all this stuff to do.
Well, you know what? I gotta tell you, that just sounds like the actions of a leader.
You think?
Absolutely, you are a man that has a position of power and responsibility. What could the police force understand about that?
So you're saying that I have power above the Deccio police force?
I am saying you have the power to believe in yourself.
Nice strong messaging there. He kind of nods up and down then as he continues to stick chocolate snacks in his mouth and chew on them, and he's like, wow, it feels like a great big weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Button pops as he says that, looking down and goes, oh, a little bit of a weight at least.
Mark touches the button as it pops off.
Then this is one of yours, sir. He looks at you and he goes, wow, what should I call you, by the way?
My name is, and I think I'm going to use another pseudonym here.
Okay. Roll. Oh, well, I'll either let you come up with it yourself, or you can roll to create some time to... Actually, no, yeah, let's roll to create some time to do so.
Let's roll to go into the Max Payne slow motion, so I can look around the room.
2d6, and we'll give you a +1 for investigation and +1 for intuition.
Okay. Okay, that's an 11.
That's an 11, oh boy. Yeah, time does slow down for you, and obviously there's the button in your hand, there's men's goods like aftershave and a little mirror in there. There's obviously the big green orc who I think might be his girlfriend to your right hand side, and windows outside and stuff like that.
Okay. I flip the button and in my hand, and I catch it again, and I say, "My name is Greenie McButtons. Pleased to meet you."
Oh, great. Greenie McButtons puts his hand out. I'm King Pratt. Well, I guess you already knew that.
Well, sir, of course. I make my living knowing things.
Alright, great. Well, man, I should keep you around a little bit longer. You're all full of, you're full of great advice, Greenie.
Well, you know what? Thank you very much. And we must discuss what my retainer could be. Is there a retainer for this position?
Oh God, yeah, you're gonna be as rich as a king. Well, not me though. Like I'm still a king here, but you're gonna be pretty rich from being my advisor.
I kind of like I have my hands clasped together, and where the wire thing is in my jacket.
Yeah.
Is there a fireplace in the room? Is there anything like that?
Oh, interesting. Tell you what, because of the idea, yeah, for some reason there is a roaring fire happening at the moment, despite the fact it's the middle of the afternoon.
Okay, I'm just gonna act like I'm being very thoughtful and thinking as I walk over to the fireplace, and I'm gonna take the wire out and throw it into the fireplace.
Okay, and what's the intent of this? It's just you want to what are you destroying? Are you destroying the wire with the hope that they don't get anything from this, or they don't hear you making the deal with Pratt?
I'm just destroying it because it's like I'm effectively severing my ties with the shadow guys.
Yeah, if this guy gets arrested, I'm gonna lose my advisor's job. So roll flat 2d6.
Okay. No lie. This was 2 6s for a total of 12.
Oh, but that's boxcars, baby. Oh boy. Okay, so I will say on a 12 then, Pratt, neither the green orc, neither the other two will notice what you're doing. So you reach your hand around where your breast pocket is, and you're kind of rooting for something, and then you scrunch it up in your hand, throw it in the fireplace, and the thing kind of explodes in a little poof of purple magic and sparkle then.
And after that's done, I say, my king, I have to tell you, there are some suspicious characters wandering around the shadows out in the hallway.
Really?
Yeah. One of them even accosted me. I didn't get a good look at him, but you might have sent some guards poking around into the corners of the castle. Just as a cautionary exercise before this whole thing gets started.
Oh, gosh darn it. Alright, well, I'm gonna go... Alright, well, I gotta go talk to the guards then, and, well, I mean, if you're gonna be my advisor and all, how about you go and find yourself a spare room and, pretty yourself up a bit? We got, like... Oh, jeez, we got minutes before we start looking at his seamstress, and he's just like, guys, you need to work a lot quicker, alright? I'm practically busting out of this thing. And they're just nodding. Yes, King Pratt, of course, King Pratt. So... he just kind of looks at you and he's like, yeah, you know, you got yourself to yourself, essentially.
Yep. So I'm gonna bid myself adieu and exit the room and just wander around looking for a fresh bedroom.
As you leave the room, you bump into one of the guards from earlier in the day. He goes, "Finally, there you are. We've been looking for you everywhere, sir. We need you downstairs immediately."
And I say, well, whatever for?
Well, the ceremony's about to start, and we just need you to double-check the trombones are all in working order.
I guarantee their condition. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some other duties to attend to.
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion.
That's a 10.
Oh, wow. The guard is a little bit blown back by that, and he's just like, "Oh, okay. Alright, we'll just take your word for it then, sir." As, he leaves you to it.
Alright, I'm gonna find a room and, is there any place where any, wardrobe available, like a clothing change?
Yeah, so you do find yourself a spare room, which does have a wardrobe in it. When you say, well, yeah, you're looking for a change of clothes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm trying to distinguish, just so that doesn't happen again with guard. I'm trying to make a distinction between Greenie McButton's appearance and Mark Mountain's appearance.
Okay. Roll 2d6 plus investigation plus intuition.
Okay. It's going to be an 8.
That is an 8. Okay, there are two options that you can go for then, which is, first option, you have a look in the spare room, and the clothes that are in there belong to people who work in the castle. Very shabby clothing.
Sure.
You pop your head in another room, and it seems to be a walk-in wardrobe for Pratt. You would have to make some amends in order to wear his clothes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Okay. You pop into Pratt's walk-in wardrobe then, and these are all the clothes of a beast person. And oh boy, he's very big at the moment, but he was already pretty big before he started stress eating and stress exercising. So, how are you going to make these changes?
So I'm going to find a shirt and basically cut it in half and just cut like basically cut the bottom half off and half the sleeves down so that it becomes basically like a jacket for a human.
Yes.
And then I'm going to take my hat and I'm going to just pull some fabric, like whatever the finest fabrics are. I'm just going to rip it and wrap it around the hat so that instead of the trademark red and white pinstriped, it's just like a solid blue or whatever color. And I think that's pretty much all I'm going to do is just cover up the pinstripes.
2d6.
All right. That's a 7.
That's a 7. Okay. You managed to pull this off then. So you grab one of Pratt's shirts, I'll tell you what. You don't manage to find scissors, but you do manage to make the tears that you need.
I use the knife that I picked up earlier.
Oh, in that case then, no issue at all. You get nice, clean cut. I was going to say that it looks like a pirate shirt, like it just looks like it is obviously teared. No, nice, clean cuts on this, so it doesn't raise suspicion from that. Neither does the fabric around your hat. So You have diminished the pinstripes in this case, and you have reworked yourself into greeny muck buttons. But you then get a knock on the door, and you hear a voice that says, "Is anybody in here?"
I say nothing and hide.
2d6.
It's an 8.
You manage to hide yourself in the wardrobe as the head pops in and says, "Oh, dang it. Ceremony's going to be any minute. Where's that? Where's Pratt's new advisor? We want him out on stage." And they shut the door behind them.
I'm going to, I guess, head out towards the stage.
Oh boy. Okay. So you have a look outside the window of the room that you're in, and you see where the stage is set up, just in one of the large gardens of Trottlera Castle, which does connect out to the wider city. And you have seen that quite a number of people are there, almost in their thousands, a mix of people of the city, other dignitaries, and paparazzos from across the aisle. And you do see a couple of figures down there as well, so you know exactly where to go. You head down the stairways, and I'll say you don't bump into anyone until you get outside. But yeah, there is a stage there, and they are awaiting the ceremony to begin.
All right. I as I walk out onto the stage, I kind of do a little flourish with my hands, as if being the center of attention is pretty much the thing that I love the most.
Excellent. Nobody in the crowd seems to respond to that, unless you want them to.
No,
I can make you roll.
It's mostly just it's really a Mark. It's a Mark being Mark for himself.
Okay, you sit down then, and the ceremony begins. Roll 2d6 plus fake trombones.
It's going to be a 9.
What would you rather happen? Do you want them to make any noise, or do you want them to not work, or what?
Because I love things becoming just, absolutely unsustainable. No, the noise they make is absolutely horrendous.
Of course. I will say then on an 8, there will be suspicion on you, but no immediate action then.
Sure.
A man comes out and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, His Royal Highness, King Pratt." The brass section are all looking on their trombones. Why did they make that noise?
I just
they look at
smiling and staring towards the crowd.
They look at the other orchestrators, and they're like, "We haven't got anything else." So drummers start drumming, violinists start violining, and as looking rather flummoxed is King Pratt heading onto the stage, who is getting quite a number of comments from people in the audience as they are a bit surprised by how he looks. He's looking over in your direction because you did tell him that you had trombones.
I don't meet his gaze, and I just continue smiling and looking out towards the crowd.
He gulps and looks back at the crowd, and he goes, "People of Trottlera, it's me, King Pratt, as you all recognize, I suppose. Let's cut straight to the point then. As you're all very aware, the last couple of months in Trottlera have been, they've been turbulent. We lost King Brennan and Queen Manon, and in their absence, I had to step up to rule a kingdom, which for many would be quite a challenge, but I would like to think in these past few months that we've really turned Trodlera into a new utopia. And, like, he gets claps and woos and is like, yeah, you go, Pratt. Yeah, this is all great. And then he goes, well, let me say there's been a real interesting redevelopment in recent time. As some of you may already know, we found Queen Manon and King Brennan. The crowd goes very quiet and then starts, like, whispering to one another as he's looking over at you for, like, am I on the right track here?
And I stand up and I look back. I look over to the king, King Pratt, and I say, "My good sir, how wondrous news! Crowd, don't you think that our king deserves all of our praise and adulation?"
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion.
I will.
I will.
That's a 10.
The audience turns around and they start, like, clapping and wooing again. You've convinced them on this, and, like, Pratt is looking at you. Pratt just mouths "thank you" like over at you as he, like, wipes sweat off his brow, and he's trying very hard not to move too much so he doesn't rip the clothes that he's wearing. And he swallows and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, the previous king and queen of Trodlera, Brennan and Manon, please reintroduce yourselves." As there are a couple of shocked gasps as the old king arrives wearing clothes that people would previously recognize him wearing, a lovely green jacket with a white ruffle underneath and tight pants. He looks behind him, waiting for his wife to appear. Pratt looks over and waits for his mother to appear. Pratt looks in your direction, hoping for some kind of reassurance.
So at this point, I say, "Well, my king, it is clear that your mother might be feeling under the weather, with all of the turbulent events recently. So why don't we continue the ceremony without her, and when she feels better, we can come out and have her re-greet the crowd under her best mind."
Roll 2d6 plus persuasion.
That's another 10.
Probably made you... Oh, wow. I've probably made you roll the most out of, like, any games of question shows so far. But
this character just leans pretty much into everything.
Pratt looks back and he nods and he goes, I guess Manon must be, she must have come down with something, but guys, don't worry, she's absolutely right as rain. As are you, right, King Brennan? Glad to be back, people of Trodlera. Woo, cheers and claps. And, such a wonderful job that my son has been doing in the meantime, which I'm sure we will continue into this new era of Trodlera. As the crowd goes a bit quiet again, as I think and then you start to hear, "No, if Brennan's back, let's get him back on the throne. Yeah, let's get Pratt off the throne. Let's go back to how things used to be." As, the crowd starts to turn a little bit, and Pratt's just like, well, no, listen, these things, they take time, and like I said, we are moving to a new Trodlera, guys, so, let's not get too hasty, alright? As, once again, looks in his advisor's direction.
So realizing that things might be slipping away for Pratt, and Pratt is currently my meal ticket, I jog up into the center of the stage, and I put my hand on not on his shoulder, because it's too high for me, but on Pratt's back and Brennan's back, and I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, please. The old king has been through quite a lot, and He just doesn't see fit anymore to rule over this kingdom when his son has done such a magnificent job. He can enjoy his retirement in peace with his lovely wife, Queen Manon, and they can just enjoy being regular folks with an absorbent amount of money, and to shower their sons' advisors with. And I lean forward and I say, let's hear it for King Pratt and all of the wondrous, splendiferous, magnificent things that he has done for you and for the kingdom of Trotolera.
I promise this will be the last time I ask this. 2d6 plus persuasion.
That's an 8.
Oh, okay. People look around then, and you have made a very good argument for this. And yeah, they start to clap and they go, yeah, Trotolera 2! Yeah, King Pratt! A new era! Woo! Yeah! It's like, yeah, they're cheering and clapping along as you have managed to save his bacon in this situation. Brennan kind of looks in your direction and he's just like, wait a minute. Wait, what? Why are we paying this guy for? Oh, he's going to be my new advisor, Dad. Oh. What kind of things are you going to advise him on?
Anything and everything that the good King Pratt asks me to. And I give him finger guns.
Right, okay. People at Trotolera, thank you for coming out. As, he points over to the brass section again, who... As Pratt now is looking at you and he goes, what's up with those trombones?
I turn and I say, you know, there's a very good chance that some of your guards downstairs might have mishandled them when handing them out to the brass players. We'll have to take a look at them and make sure that this does not happen again. I guarantee it.
2d6. I would give you a +1 on persuasion, but I'm taking -1 away because they are your fake trombones.
Sure.
So just flat 2d6 on this.
That's a 6 and a 2 for a total of 8.
Oh boy, okay. Right, okay, I guess we're going to have to do some investigations then, but,
And you know what? You can leave that up to me. I'll investigate it, the problem myself.
Oh, no, it's fine. You've already done enough already for us, Greenie, so, you go and sort yourself out for the day. We gotta write up some paperwork and all sorts of stuff about you being on my advisory board, but, we got a busy afternoon ahead of us.
And I take my leave.
Okay. What, you're just gonna try and escape the situation?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a little bow, and I turn and I head back into the castle.
Okay. I think with that, you have kind of written yourself into a situation where you're going to be Pratt's advisor, but there is going to be quite a lot of money in this job, I suppose. So what I'm going to ask is this. What happens next for Mark?
Mark is going to keep this con going for as long as he possibly can.
Oh boy, so he is going to stand by Pratt's side for as long as the plates keep spinning.
As long as the plates keep spinning, as soon as one of them wobbles, though, he's out.
He is out of there.
Yep.
Oh boy. I will say one last thing that you see before you head into the castle proper then, and into your new role as advisor. That person that was hiding in the shadows earlier points a finger at you, and then does a slit neck motion under their throat.
And and in response to the slit neck motion, Mark basically holds up the palm of his hand and says, "Ha ha! Come at me, bro."
Just leaves into it. Oh boy. Wow, what powerful words to end on then. as we leave Mark Mountain there for now, I think.
Yeah.
Kevin, how did you find that?
That was fun. I think that was the D&D or TTRPG equivalent of like that game where you start with a pencil and then you try to sell it to somebody and like you keep trading and bartering until you have something of actual value. And it was fun. It was fun playing an absolute con man with very few morals. As we've discovered, the heart of gold, it's actually just gold leaf wrapped around.
Much like the coin in his pocket.
Much like the coin in the pocket. It's not actually gold.
Oh boy. Wow. I can't believe it. It's always the con men in these games that manage to win big. So I guess to the people at home who may want to play Question Show, if you're aiming for success, be a con person.
It was funny though because I had some bad rolls in the middle early, and then just towards the end I just had a run of persuasion rolls.
Success. Absolutely, you just nailed every single persuasion roll. It was quite something. So, that's good job. You won Question Show.
I win. I got I've written a character into it. into the royal family, basically.
Please look forward for Kevin coming back every single week of Question Show so we can see his character. No, it's fine. We'll don't worry about it. We'll figure
out some sort of ending, appropriate ending for Mark Mountain.
Exactly, but hey, if there's the opportunity for him to, if you come back and you decide we want to see a bit more Mark, then we can figure that out at the time.
Yeah, we can always work that out.
Exactly, but until next time, though, this is the end of Question Show. So what I will ask is, Kev, any last shout-outs or plugs that you want to do?
Yeah, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Arcadology, and check out my podcast, Pixel Lit, which can be hopefully found on podcast platforms everywhere.
Fantastic. Well, we're all looking forward to listening to it, and of course, links will be in the description of the show. And I have been James D. You can find me on Twitter at HotCider. If you enjoyed this episode, if you're listening to it on a podcast app, please leave us a review. If you're watching it on YouTube, a like and a comment always goes far. This is a Patreon-funded series, and for that I would like to thank Chasm, Valerie B, and VG for being top-tier supporters for my work. If you would like to get involved, please look out for patreon.com/HotCider. And with that, we will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.